Have you ever prayed, and it seemed as though the heavens were silent? You waited, and you waited, but nothing seemed to change. You cried through the night, and when the morning came, the burden was still there. And in those moments, the enemy whispered to you, "It will never happen. God has forgotten you. The answer will not come." But listen to me carefully, delay is not denial. When you cannot trace his hand, you can trust his heart. There is a divine timing, a perfect orchestration that you and I cannot see with our natural eyes. Oh, how we long for God to hurry! We want the answer immediately. We want the miracle now. Yet he, in his infinite wisdom, often waits until every circumstance around us declares it is impossible, so that when the miracle comes, no man, no woman, no doctor, no circumstance can take the glory. Think for a moment. Lazarus was sick, and the message was sent, "Come quickly." But the master delayed. He didn't rush. He didn't come when they thought he should. And when he finally arrived, the tomb was sealed, and the stench of death filled the air. To human eyes, it was over. But it was in that delay that the greatest glory was revealed. Out of the silence of waiting came the thunder of resurrection power. Perhaps right now you are living in that silence. The delay feels heavy, almost unbearable. Every day that passes without the answer feels like another nail in the coffin of your hope. But could it be that God is setting the stage for something so much greater than you ever imagined? Could it be that he is allowing time to pass so that when he moves, you will know beyond any doubt that it was his hand and his hand alone? There is no wasted waiting with God. Behind the curtain of your delay, he is arranging people, circumstances, and even your own heart. He is shaping you, refining you, preparing you to carry the very thing you asked for. And when the fullness of time comes, when the last piece is in place, he will open the door no man can shut. So hold on. Don't let the silence deceive you. Don't let the delay break you. For the God who spoke the worlds into being has not forgotten you. He is still working, even when you cannot see him. And when he moves, oh precious people, it will be worth every tear, every prayer, every moment of waiting. Delay is not denial. It is preparation for glory. Delay is not denial. Let those words settle deep within your spirit. For how many times have you prayed, and when the answer did not come swiftly, you thought perhaps heaven had turned away? How many times have you felt the weight of unanswered prayer pressing upon your heart until it seemed that your faith itself was breaking beneath the burden? Yet, my friend, the very silence that troubles you may be the silence in which God is shaping the miracle that will change your life forever. Do not mistake his delay for his denial, for he is never late, never absent, never careless with the prayers of his children. Sometimes we think if God does not act instantly, then surely he has turned away. We expect him to come running the moment we cry out, and when he does not, our hearts tremble with fear, and our minds are filled with questions. But you see, if he were to answer in our time, in our way, there would be no mystery, no stretching of faith, no preparation for the weight of glory that is to come. He delays, not because he does not love, but because his love is so great. He will not give you anything less than the very best of heaven. Think about it. If every prayer were answered the moment it was spoken, faith would never grow, patience would never be tested, and trust would never be deepened. The delay is a sacred space where your faith is refined, where the roots of your belief dig deeper into the soil of his promises. It is in the waiting that you discover whether you believe in miracles because you see them, or whether you believe in miracles because you believe in God. And the moment that realization comes, there is a strength within your spirit that no delay can destroy. I wonder how many listening tonight feel as though God has been silent for too long. Perhaps you have prayed for years, and the situation remains unchanged. Perhaps you have asked for healing, and the pain still lingers. Perhaps you have begged for the door to open, and every door remains shut. And in those moments of heaviness, the enemy whispers into your soul, if God truly heard you, if he truly loved you, would he not have answered by now? Oh, but hear me, delay is not denial. The whisper of the enemy is nothing but a lie meant to turn your eyes from the one who holds every moment of your life in his hands. Do not forget, 1,000 years in his sight are as but a single day. What seems long and unbearable to you is but a moment in the eternal plan of God. The tapestry of your life is being woven with threads you cannot see, and while you look at the loose ends, he is shaping a masterpiece. There is no wasted waiting with him. The very silence that frightens you is the silence of preparation, of divine orchestration, of heaven aligning earth for a miracle greater than your imagination could conceive. If you could only see what he sees, if you could only glimpse the way he holds tomorrow in his hand, you would understand that every moment of delay is a moment of perfect timing. And when his time comes, and it will come, you will realize that not one tear was wasted, not one prayer ignored, not one moment of waiting overlooked. He is faithful. He is working. Delay is not denial. It is the quiet rhythm of a God who is never too soon, never too late, but always right on time. There are moments when the human heart cries, "Why doesn't God come now? Why doesn't he answer at this very moment?" We see the darkness closing in. We see the mountain standing tall before us, and we plead for it to move instantly. But have you noticed that God so often waits until every human effort is exhausted, until every door is shut, until hope itself seems buried? He does not rush to meet our timeline, for his purpose is not only to answer prayer, but to reveal his glory in a way that cannot be mistaken for anything else. When the answer comes too quickly, how easily we point to natural causes. We say, perhaps it was the doctor, perhaps it was coincidence, perhaps it would have happened anyway. But when the delay stretches, when the waiting presses us to the edge, when nothing human can explain what is about to take place, then and only then can his glory shine with a brilliance that no man can dim. The impossible becomes the stage on which heaven displays its power. The delay is the canvas, and the miracle is the stroke of the master's hand. Think of the story of Lazarus. They called for the master, begging him to come before it was too late. Yet he lingered. He did not come when they expected, and in the silence of his delay, death claimed the body. To those who loved him, it was the end. To their eyes, hope had vanished. But the delay was not cruel, it was purposeful. For had he arrived when Lazarus was merely sick, the healing would have been wonderful, but a healing they had seen before. But when he stepped onto the scene, after 4 days in the tomb, the stench of death in the air, when he called forth life from the grave, that was a glory so overwhelming that no one could attribute it to chance or to human effort. The delay created the impossibility, and the impossibility revealed the glory. How often does he wait until the night grows darkest, until the storm rages fiercest, until the situation becomes utterly hopeless, only to step in and command the winds and waves to obey? It is in that very moment of desperation, when human wisdom has failed, that his divine wisdom shines forth. It is when the physician has shaken his head, when the banker has closed the account, when the friends have turned away, that he steps in so there can be no doubt. This was the hand of God, and the hand of God alone. Perhaps you are in that place right now, waiting and wondering why he has not yet come. Perhaps you are asking, why does he allow the delay? Why does he not move now? Could it be that he is preparing to reveal himself to you in a dimension you have never known before? Could it be that the very impossibility surrounding you is the foundation for a miracle greater than anything you have yet seen? There is a glory that cannot be revealed in ease and comfort. There is a glory that is only seen in the face of impossibility. And when he chooses to wait, when he chooses to delay, it is because he is preparing a testimony that will echo through your life, a testimony that will silence doubt, a testimony that will cause others to know that the living God still moves in the affairs of men. The delay is not a denial of your prayer. It is an opportunity for heaven to break into earth with a power and majesty so undeniable that every knee will bow and every tongue confess that it was God and God alone who did it. There is a story that has been told again and again, yet every time you hear it, it carries with it the fragrance of mystery, of wonder, of the very heartbeat of God. A man lay sick, and his sisters, desperate with love and fear, sent for the master. Their words were urgent, their hearts trembling. They knew time was slipping through their fingers. Every passing hour was another step closer to the grave. They pleaded, "Come quickly, before it's too late." And still he lingered. He tarried where he was, as though unmoved by their desperation. Days passed, and when he finally came, the body had been wrapped, the stone had been rolled across the tomb, and all hope had been sealed within the darkness of death. Can you feel the weight of that moment? The sisters weeping, the mourners surrounding them, the hopelessness thick in the air. They had believed that if only he had come sooner, everything would have been different. But now, in their eyes, it was too late. The delay had stolen their miracle. Their faith was broken, their hearts crushed under the silence of unanswered cries. Yet, in that very delay, something greater was being prepared, something so far beyond what they had asked for that they could not have imagined it. And then he spoke. Standing before the tomb, with the sting of death surrounding him, he lifted his voice. "Roll away the stone," they gasped. "But Lord, he has been dead 4 days. Surely by now the stench is unbearable." Still, he insisted. And as the stone was rolled away, he lifted his eyes heavenward, not in panic, not in despair, but in complete authority. Then, with a voice that shattered the silence of death itself, he cried, "Lazarus, come forth." Oh, how the air must have trembled in that moment. From the depths of decay, life surged back into a lifeless body. The still heart began to beat again, blood rushed through cold veins, and eyes once closed in death opened to the light of day. And from that tomb, wrapped in grave clothes, the man who had been dead walked out alive. Can you imagine the cries of astonishment, the gasps of the crowd, the tears of his sisters as they fell at his feet? What they had seen was no ordinary healing, no common restoration. This was not a recovery from sickness. This was resurrection from the grip of death. The delay, which they had feared as the end, became the very stage upon which the power of God was displayed in its fullest glory. For if he had come when they first called, they would have witnessed a healing. But because he waited, they witnessed a resurrection. Perhaps that is where you find yourself today. You asked him to come when the sickness was bearable, when the burden was heavy but not yet crushing, when the problem was difficult but not yet impossible. And still, he did not come. The days passed. The situation worsened. It seems as though it has died, as though the stone has been rolled over your prayer. You whisper, if only he had come earlier. But could it be that the delay is not the end, but the very setting for a greater miracle? Could it be that what looks finished to you is only waiting for the voice that calls life out of death? Do not despise the delay. Do not fear the silence. The same voice that thundered at the tomb of Lazarus is the voice that still speaks today. And when he speaks, death gives way to life, despair gives way to hope, and impossibility bows before the glory of God. Waiting is never easy. It presses upon the heart like a weight that will not lift. Every hour feels longer, every day stretches into an eternity. And yet, in the silence of waiting, something sacred is taking place, though your eyes may not see it and your mind may not grasp it. For while you are pacing the floor, questioning and weeping, heaven is at work in ways beyond your understanding. The waiting is not empty. It is not wasted. It is the holy ground where God is arranging, preparing, and shaping. You see, we think of waiting as nothing happening. We think of it as wasted time, moments slipping through our fingers with no answer in sight. But waiting is the workshop of God. It is in the waiting that he positions people you have never met, moves circumstances you could never control, and aligns situations that only his wisdom could orchestrate. What you perceive as delay is, in truth, divine activity behind the veil of the unseen. Think of Joseph languishing in a prison cell, forgotten by men, unseen by the world. To him, those years must have felt like endless silence, like prayers that went unanswered. But in that waiting, God was preparing an entire nation for deliverance. God was shaping Joseph's heart to bear the weight of power without pride, to carry authority without corruption. The waiting was not punishment, it was preparation. And when the time came, in a single day he was lifted from the dungeon to the palace. What seemed wasted was actually woven into the plan of God with perfection. And so it is with you. The unanswered prayer you have carried, the dream that feels delayed, the cry that has echoed in silence, all of it is being used by the hand of God to prepare both you and what you have asked for. If he gave it too soon, you might not be ready to hold it. If he delivered it before the right moment, it might crush you instead of bless you. But in the waiting, he is refining you, teaching you trust, stretching your faith, deepening your dependence upon him alone. There is a mystery in this. Sometimes he is not only preparing you, he is preparing others. He is working in the life of someone you do not even know yet, someone who will be the key to the very answer you are longing for. He is shifting hearts, changing decisions, opening doors in places you cannot see. And because his plan is eternal, not bound by your limited vision of time, every piece must fall into place before he releases the fullness of what you have asked. That is why the waiting feels so heavy, because you cannot see the movement. To you, it looks like nothing is happening. To him, everything is happening. Heaven is alive with activity. Angels are on assignment. Circumstances are turning. People are being positioned. The silence on your end is the sound of a symphony being composed on his. And when the moment comes, when the last thread is woven, when the final piece is aligned, the answer will burst forth in such beauty and such power that you will know with all certainty that it was worth every second of waiting. Then you will see that no time was wasted, no prayer was ignored, no tear was unseen. In the silence of waiting, God was working all along, and his timing will reveal a miracle that could not have come one moment sooner or one moment later. There are moments in life when silence feels like the loudest sound of all. You pray until your voice is weary, and yet there is no whisper, no sign, no movement. You search for his presence, but all you find is stillness, and in that silence, fear creeps in, whispering lies to your heart, convincing you that you have been forgotten, that your prayers have been lost in the wind, that perhaps God has turned his face away. But let me tell you with all certainty, the silence of God is not the absence of God. Though you cannot see him, though you cannot feel him, He is closer than the very breath you breathe. Think of the child who falls asleep in the dark. The room feels empty, shadows stretch across the walls, but in another chair sits the father, watching, guarding, never leaving. The child cannot see him in the darkness, but the presence is still there, strong and unshaken. So it is with God. The silence that frightens you does not mean he has abandoned you. His nearness is not always felt, but it is always real. It is in those silent seasons that your faith is tested, where the very foundation of your trust is revealed. Will you believe only when you can see his hand at work, or will you trust even when you cannot trace his steps? That is the true test of faith. Not believing because the miracle has arrived, but believing because you know the one who holds the miracle is faithful. Faith that is built on feelings will crumble when silence comes, but faith that is built on trust will stand even when every sense says otherwise. Consider Job stripped of everything, surrounded by loss with the heavens silent above him. He sat in ashes, scraping his wounds, hearing only the accusations of those around him. Yet in the midst of silence, he declared, "Though he slay me, yet will I trust him." What kind of faith is this? It is the faith that believes not because of evidence, but in spite of its absence. And such faith cannot be shaken by silence, for it is rooted not in what God does, but in who God is. Perhaps right now you are in that very place. The sickness lingers, the answer tarries, the doors remain closed, and you wonder, has he heard me at all? Does he see the tears I have cried? Yes, he has heard. Yes, he has seen. Every sigh, every whisper, every tear has been gathered by the hand of the one who promised never to leave you nor forsake you. The silence is not neglect, it is a holy pause, a sacred space where your trust in him is deepened beyond measure. Do not mistake hiddenness for abandonment. A seed buried in the soil is unseen for a season. The darkness covers it, silence surrounds it, yet deep within, life is stirring, roots are forming, strength is growing. And when the appointed time comes, it breaks forth in beauty for all to see. Your life is that seed. Though hidden in silence now, the miracle is forming, and soon the fruit will appear. So hold fast when the silence presses against your soul. Refuse to believe the lie that you are forgotten. Even when heaven seems quiet, the throne of God is not empty, and his promises are not void. He is still working, still watching, still holding you in his unfailing love. The silence is only the shadow of his hand covering you until the time is right to reveal what he has prepared. When at last the waiting comes to an end, when the silence breaks and the answer arrives, something happens that words can scarcely describe. Suddenly, every tear you have shed, every night you have spent in prayer, every moment when you nearly gave up but chose to hold on, it all begins to make sense. For the blessing that comes after the waiting is never an ordinary blessing. It carries with it a weight, a depth, a glory that could not have been revealed had it come one moment sooner. The waiting was not meant to destroy you, but to prepare you, to stretch your faith, to enlarge your capacity, so that when the miracle comes, you will be able to carry it without being crushed. There are answers that come quickly, and we rejoice in them. But have you noticed that the answers which linger, the ones you wrestled for, the ones that cost you sleepless nights and aching prayers, those are the ones that leave the deepest mark upon your soul. Those are the ones that change you forever. For in the delay, you learn to trust. In the silence, you discovered his faithfulness. In the waiting, your roots grew deep, so that, when the blessing arrived, it did not merely touch the surface of your life, it transformed the very core of your being. Think of a vessel being crafted. If it is rushed through the fire, it will crack under pressure. But if it remains in the furnace until the potter knows it is ready, it will emerge strong enough to carry great treasure. So it is with you. Had the answer come when you first asked, you might not have been ready to bear its weight. But in the waiting, the potter was strengthening you, shaping you, molding you into a vessel prepared for the fullness of his promise. And when the appointed moment arrives, oh, how marvelous it is! Suddenly, the door that was shut swings open with such force that no one can close it again. The healing that seemed delayed bursts forth with such power that no sickness can resist it. The breakthrough that appeared forgotten floods into your life with a testimony so great that even those who doubted cannot deny it. And in that moment, you know, it was worth it. Worth the waiting, worth the silence, worth the nights of wrestling with faith. Some of you are standing at the edge of that very moment. You have waited, you have prayed, and still you see nothing. But what if I told you that the longer the wait, the greater the blessing? What if I told you that the very reason it has taken so long is because he is preparing something far greater than what you even asked for? For he does exceedingly, abundantly above all that we ask or think. You asked for provision, and he is preparing abundance. You asked for healing, and he is preparing wholeness. You asked for an open door, and he is preparing a destiny. Hold on just a little longer. Do not despise the delay, for it is not a denial, it is preparation for glory. And when that glory is revealed, when the answer finally comes, you will look back on every moment of waiting and say, with trembling lips and tears in your eyes, it was worth it all. For what he gives after the waiting is not temporary, not fragile, not shallow. It is lasting, it is strong, and it will stand as a testimony to his faithfulness for the rest of your days. So now, as we bring it all together, remember this: the delay was never his denial. The silence was never his absence. Every moment of waiting was a holy preparation. Every unanswered prayer was shaping you for a greater glory, and every tear was watering the seed of a miracle yet to bloom. What you thought was lost was only hidden until the right moment. And when his time comes, it will come with such power, such beauty, such certainty, that you will know beyond doubt it was worth it all. Thank you for listening with such an open heart. May faith rise within you, may hope never leave you, and may you hold on to the promise that he is always working for your good. Good luck on your journey, and God bless you richly.